Welcome to the Third Row Tesla podcast. My name is Safyan Farval, and today we have a very special guest. I'm going to introduce our regular crew. So today we have Omar Kazi.
Boom.
Thanks, Omar. And then we also have Kristen, K10.
Hi.
Great. And then we have our special guest. So our special guest today is Andy Slye, and we're going to be talking about the Tesla marketing today. So Andy, you want to introduce yourself?
Yep. Hey everybody, my name is Andy, and I'm so glad that I'm not following Elon. I was so worried about that. I was like, oh man, people are going to subscribe for Elon, and then the next episode they're going to find me and they're just going to unsubscribe and let everybody down. But no, I'm excited to be on. Thanks for having me.
Well, it's only
pleasure.
Sooner or later that they realized the Elon interview was a fraud and didn't record anything. So
Yeah, exactly. It never happened.
Yeah, it was all photoshopped. May set us up. She's like,
just amazing what you can do with CGI these days.
awesome.
Yeah.
So yeah, we thought we'd talk about Tesla marketing, and what better person to have on our podcast to talk about this than the person with the most referrals in the world, Tesla referrals, that is. So you got to tell me, man, how the heck did you get so many referrals? It's like, what's your secret?
Yeah. So for those of you probably don't know me, that's a lot of people from the Tesla community know me by the one who has the most referrals. So yeah, I have over 1,000 right now, and I always tell people, I did a video about this, but it was a perfect storm. When so basically I do YouTube videos. I have a tech channel, and I've been doing a lot of Tesla videos since I got my Model 3 in April of 2018. And when I got my car, I reviewed it, and I was so excited. As you all know, when you get a Tesla, you just become so excited and enthusiastic about the product. And I reviewed it, and I was like, I got to start doing more videos about this because it was just so fun. And when my videos were rising in popularity, it was around the same time that Tesla was making their biggest sales push. At the end of 2018, they were pushing everybody and encouraging everybody to buy a Model 3 before the end of November to lock in that full tax credit. And that, along with my videos, which were doing really well on YouTube, that was just a perfect storm for my referrals, and it just skyrocketed my referrals. And it was crazy. I never expected to become the world's top Tesla referrer, and it's been a crazy ride, but it's been awesome. And I'm so glad that I've been able to help that many people get a Tesla. It's incredible.
Very cool.
Yeah, thank you.
What do you think about the changes to the referral program? I know that it changed, I think, in March or April. It changed a few times during the beginning of 2019, but...
Yeah, it's changed. It's changed quite a bit. I was not even aware of the referral program when I got my car. I was just a Model 3 owner, so if you just own a Model 3, you did not even get a code.
Really?
Yeah.
You didn't get one to start with?
Nope.
Oh, okay.
So a lot of people
Didn't know that.
A lot of people, they obviously ask, like, did you buy a Tesla? Like, did you start making videos strictly just to get referrals? And I'm like, absolutely not. I didn't even know about the referral program, let alone I have a code.
Cool. So you
yeah.
started making videos before you even knew about the referral program.
Correct.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah. When I did my full review video in the summer of 2018, I did not have a code, and I did a 20-minute long review, and I didn't mention the code at all because I didn't have one. So
what motivated you at the time to make the video? Just the love of Tesla, or?
Yeah. So yeah, I it was my dream car. I never thought I would win a Roadster, let alone 2 Roadsters. So like when I got my Model 3, it was my dream car. I was like, this is it. This is my dream car. I got to get a red car because it's my dream car. And if I knew I was going to get Roadster, I probably wouldn't have got a red Model 3. But actually, the red actually helps with my YouTube thumbnails. I feel like the red stands out a little bit on YouTube. Yeah. So I'm kind of glad I got the red. But to me, that was my dream car. I saved for years. I saved cash just to be able to pay in cash in full for it. And when I got it, I knew, when I reserved it, I knew that I was going to make videos about it because I had a YouTube channel. So when I reserved it in 2016, I had plans for it to be a part of my channel. I never knew it was going to go this far though. But yeah, I did not have a referral code when I got my Model 3. And then a few months later, after I got my I got after I uploaded my video, my full review, I got a code, or it was around that time I got a code, and that's when I started putting it in the description of some of my Model 3 videos.
So what are you going to do with the second Roadster? I mean, obviously you've got one to drive. Is the second one just going to be for friends to race the first one, or Robotaxi Roadster, or what's going on there?
Yeah, and also, sorry, I'll get to that in a second. Kristen, I'm sorry, I didn't think I answered your question. You asked about the changes. Sorry, let me address, I do think the changes to the referral program are good for the typical owner, because, you know, not many people are making YouTube videos, even though, like, there are so many more people making YouTube videos about Tesla now compared to when I started doing it. It's just crazy. But yeah, I think it's good. The whole raffle system, basically, if you get a referral, it's like a ticket it's like an entry into potentially winning a Model Y or a Roadster that they supposedly have been doing.
You didn't get a Y yet?
I have not heard anybody winning a Model Y or a Roadster through the new referral program. The only thing I've heard is Tesla actually confirmed in an email saying that they have been doing them, but I don't know if it's just people are signing an NDA, or they're not. They're just regular owners who don't tweet. You know what I'm saying? Because it's got to be on Twitter, right? But no, I don't know. But I think that's good. I think it's. Hopefully, we can start seeing some of those people like coming out in the open and saying we want. I hope they are happening. But I think it's good for everybody going forward. Just the only things I think that I would change if I were Tesla is like fix the software, fix the platform that the referral program is built on. I don't know if they built that internally. I don't know if it was the Tesla software team or what, or if they outsourced that, but my loot box has been I mean, I can't get into my loot box for the past 6 months. It just,
well, it's because you have too many referrals, man.
Yeah, and that's
I don't have a problem with mine.
That's what I'm assuming. But I've heard other people having the same issues, and it is kind of buggy, you know. But for me, it's literally, I can't get into it because it's.
Can you see them on your account though?
In and out, it glitches. Like that's the only way I can do it if I go online and sign into my account. Yeah. But nothing on the loot box. Nope. I haven't even tried to get in the loot box for money. Well, I did good the other day just to see if anything changed, but no, it does.
Just gotta wait like half an hour.
Yeah. So fix the platform and fix the bugs first of all, and then also, you know, make sure that the rewards are, you know, feasible and that they can deliver them on time. I know that the people that owned a Model X or a Model S earlier who won, you know, like a wall connector, I know they waited years. Some people are still waiting. So I know they have difficulty delivering on those rewards in a timely manner. So I would definitely fix those two things for the referral program. But overall, I'm glad that they stuck with it. I'm glad they brought it back. It's good for people to be able to get that chance to get free supercharging miles as well, and let alone a chance to win some cars. But Omar, yeah. So about the Roadster, I plan to, you know, if Tesla lets me sell one, I definitely plan to sell one of them. I have people that are interested in buying one, just because I need that money to pay the income taxes to accept both of them, because the income taxes are going to be astronomical. I'm thinking at least $150,000 to accept both of those cars in income taxes that I'll have to pay. So, because you're thinking 30% of the value, and that's 500,000. So 30% of 500,000, that's going to be 150,000 just to take ownership of those cars. So my plan is to sell one of those and just to pay off the income taxes by selling one of those, and then have some fun with the other one. Definitely make some YouTube videos about it. Definitely going and I have some plans for it. But I will have some fun with that
though.
one.
You use your YouTube for business. I wonder if you could put the Roadster in a business name, you know, which might help your tax situation. I'm not a tax professional, but
right. I have talked to my CPA about that. Yeah, and I mentioned that to her, and we're all just waiting to see what the fine print is.
This is like the problem when Oprah gave everyone the cars. They all complained. So they're like, we have to pay taxes on these cars.
Yeah, I've read that like half or more than half of people who win cars on game shows, they can't take them because they can't pay the income taxes on them. So
I read that too. Yeah.
Well, at least we're not Canadians. I think some people in Canada, they can't even use the referral program at all. It's like illegal or something.
Yeah, and also in Ohio and like Virginia or something. Yeah, so it's weird, but luckily I live in Kentucky, and
but you know, yeah, it was really the rewards were pretty crazy last year. Like the referral program almost got a little out of hand in some of the awards. like, they put this Roadster prize. They didn't think anyone would get it. People got it. Definitely the best prize that I'm glad I got was the like Elon signature wall connector, which you can't get anywhere else, which is super cool. And I did get that and get it installed. And they had like special wheels, which and that kind of stuff. And it's like, okay, this is like a lot of stuff to ship out. Like, this is kind of a logistical nightmare now. And with the Model 3 being a much lower margin car, them wanting to reduce the cost, the system now is a lot simpler and more egalitarian. Everyone has a chance, whether you have 1 or 1,000 referrals to get a car. Supercharger miles are useful for pretty much everyone who doesn't have an S or an X. Pretty good overall.
That's the thing. Do you think the referral program hurts or helps Tesla?
I think, if you do the math and you look at how much time people put into content and things that actually generate referrals, it's still way less. It costs Tesla way less to do the referral program. I mean, it's
marketing,
and they did cap it, so now you can't get Roadsters anymore, and they've changed it, so it's just Supercharging, and they bumped that up from time to time. However, I actually was curious to know what you were thinking. Like, how would you change the referral program if you could? Not just fix the glitches and stuff. I mean, just overall vision of what Tesla can get out of it, and also the customers. Because I have my own ideas about it. I'm just curious about what you think about, how it could be improved or even restructured.
Other than the things I mentioned before, I think they're doing a decent job. At least I always look at it as at least they're doing it. I don't know of any other car manufacturer that's doing something like this. And they're doing it in a way to where anybody can kind of participate, because back, I don't know what I guess right before they changed it, but they had basically 5 levels that you could win. So each, one referral was level 1, and then up to 5, which was the invite to an event. And I remember when I got 5 referrals, I was just like, I couldn't believe it, because I was like, I'm going to a Tesla event. Like, that was just amazing. And you can't get excited for going to, what would GM do? Like, where would they send you? Where would they send you? To the factory tour? I don't know.
Detroit.
The EV2.
Yeah.
Steel, I don't know.
So I honestly don't have too many gripes about it. I love that they're actually doing it, because that is you look at any other non-car brand these days, everybody has a referral program. Like, you think of anything, Dropbox, for example. Everybody knows Dropbox. You can share a link with your friends and you get free storage. So I think they're definitely in with the now, and they're ahead of other car manufacturers when it comes to these types of things in the referral program. Well, other than, I think my biggest gripes, I've already mentioned them, the software platform, and then just making sure that their rewards can be feasibly delivered in a timely manner. And I do think their team has been going through some turnover lately, the referral program team. I don't know how to fix that, but I would like to see them hopefully build that team back up.
Do you have lifetime supercharging?
Not technically, but
Yeah,
I
he
have
has.
over.
He can go to the moon and back on his referral miles.
Yeah, I have last time I checked, I have over 1 million supercharging miles, but that was like 6 months ago. So I don't know. And they changed it to where now the miles expire 3 years after your latest referral, but I get a referral like every day. So it's like
So
the clock just
renews it.
resets. Like,
That's
yeah,
amazing.
so
It extends it, right? So
yeah.
yeah. So getting back to my thoughts on like restructuring the referral program. I mean, I'd love to see like a continuity from the sales end, like when the sales ends, to some sort of support, like almost like a first level of customer support. But I mean, in your case, if you referred that many people, everyone calling you up going, "Hey, Andy, what's going on with this?" I mean, I think your YouTube videos are pretty self-explanatory, but I mean, there could be some incentive there. Like if you did help a first level, it just try to relieve the service guys a little bit, like basic things, especially in the first month of ownership. It's like, how do I charge my car, use the adapter, all these sort of things like that could be really simple and easy to help with.
Yeah, that's a great idea. I wish there was a way that you could contact your referrals through, like you could see their email or their phone number, because a lot of, I mean, almost all of my, I don't know them. I haven't seen them in face to face. They know of me, but I have no way of reaching out to them. So I do get a lot of people that reach out and say, hey, I used your referral code. Thanks for this. And, which is awesome. You know, I'll always respond as like, hey, if you have any questions, here's my YouTube channel. You can reach out anytime and you can sign up for my email list. And, but yeah, I agree it would be awesome to alleviate some of those things from Tesla's shoulders, from the people who referred them. That would be awesome.
Well, it's pretty interesting when you think about the root of the issue, which is, you know, increasing electric vehicle adoption. And, you know, Tesla really had this issue when, you know, they started selling their cars, which is, how do we make an EV compete against a gas car? And EVs have this expensive battery. It might cost, you know, $5,000 to $10,000 for an electric vehicle battery pack. So how do you compete with a kind of car that has $10,000 less of parts than you, right? You can't compete on price. So what Tesla really had to do is fundamentally, from top to bottom, look at the whole car business and say, okay, where can we find this money elsewhere, right? How can we reinvent our business to be competitive with these other guys? And, you know, that means not paying for a lot of the things that the traditional guys pay for. Okay, they have a dealership network. The dealerships obviously take commissions and add their own margins on top. We're not going to do that. They have people who get paid to sell the cars. We're going to try and get customers to talk to their friends and sell the cars themselves. And, you know, I remember it was a lot more exciting with the 2018 awards, and it was like, I remember just being like, oh, I really want to get that 5th award, right? Because like 4 was like software updates, which was like, oh my god, I really want that. Like, you people would just die waiting for software updates back then. It's like, oh, 4 referrals. Like, it was just
People
so
are still
exciting
dying
when you
now.
got a referral back then. It was such a big deal. Now it's a little more just kind of like, you know, it's a nice thing. Maybe it'll heat up a little once they actually start giving out those Model Ys and those Roadsters. But it's a lot more of a subtle thing. But I think, you know, there's a lot of opportunities to kind of, when you look at premium connectivity, when you look at full self-driving subscriptions, right? These things are all $10, which are, you know, the same thing as, well, what's 1,000 miles of supercharging? That's like what, you know, $60, something like that. You know, so that could be 6 months of premium connectivity, even 1 month of 6 months of premium connectivity, or, you know, a month of full self-driving or something like that. Giving that to your people who are referring people, and then, you know, they end up showing it to other people. It makes a lot of sense. The key is like making sure to do it in a way that isn't costly for Tesla, because you pretty much have to assume that every sale is going to have a referral. So, you know, if you're giving out a wall charger and that's 500%, right? That's like 3% of the profit margin on a $35,000 car. So, you know, they got to figure out a way to do it sustainably. But with all these services and stuff, I think there's a lot of stuff they can do just off Tesla that doesn't cost them anything, that, you know, will really drive sales.
Yeah, that is a good point. Like, to maybe incorporate the anything that's software based into the referral program reward somehow, for the margins. That would make sense. And even still, you know, giving away cars. Now the Roadsters got a little bit out of hand, but I still think, you know, when they give away those Roadsters, they're putting them in the hands of known content creators who have been referring at such a high volume, whether they're bloggers, podcasters, YouTubers. Whoever gets those Roadsters is going to create content, and it's going to get buzz. And if it's not getting buzz before then, which it will be. So I don't know how much it's going to cost Tesla to produce a Roadster. I don't know. But yeah, I mean, I certainly agree that something with better margins incorporated into the referral program is probably a smart idea, just because probably can't give away that many Roadsters anymore. But what they're supposedly giving away 4 Roadsters a year now. So
yeah, I think that when you look at, say, Ford, they'll go take $2 million and spend it on the stupidest commercial you've ever seen. Just the worst. and it just plays over and over on the TV, and every time you see it, you're like, oh my god, kill me. I'm so tired of seeing this ad. And, instead of taking those $2 million, you go make, 20 Roadsters, just give them away, and create content that people actually want to watch. They're not like, oh my god, I have to see this shitty Ford ad again. They're like, hey, I'm going to go watch Andy Slye's video on purpose.
Yeah, that's funny because when I actually did a Uber Lyft reaction video.
I was going to ask you about that.
Yeah. So when the Model 3 was fairly new, especially in my city, I took it out and picked up Uber and Lyft riders and got the reaction on camera to my car, and went really well. It was awesome. And when I uploaded it to YouTube, I got a lot of comments saying like, this is like that, Chevy commercial, but it's actually real people this time. Like, because if you know about those commercials that they say this is a real person, and when they walk into this room, they're like, oh wow, like this, I never knew that this truck had 4 wheels.
It's a real person who's an actor.
Right, real person is an actor. And yeah, so like that's the thing. Like they paid who knows how much money just to do that awful commercial where you can tell that it's blatantly fake, and then I go out and do it for free for Tesla and get real reactions, and it's like Tesla pays me nothing except maybe a Roadster or two. Right. So
it's worth it.
But yeah, I mean that's the thing. Like with Tesla is still it's a drop in the bucket what they pay in average. Of course, Tesla pays for direct email marketing. They pay their social media manager, stuff like that. Of course, they got marketing, they got salespeople, but their budget that they spend for marketing is so much lower than
they have a budget for marketing but not advertising.
Correct. Yeah, they don't really do any like advertising, no TV ads, no traditional ads whatsoever, and there's no ads anywhere. They're letting their customers become fans and letting their fans do the marketing for them, basically.
Which I think will be really fun one day when they do need to stimulate demand and they have more supply and they're trying to push the cars. Those Tesla ads will be fun, but for now, this approach is really innovative.
Yeah, I mean, like one of the in their marketing budget is these events. I mean, actually, I think the first time I met you, Andy, was at the Model Y. Was that actually your first event that you went with, that you won through your referrals as well?
Yep, it was. Yeah,
yeah, and that was super special. I think you saw the Roadster for the first time there, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I saw what could be. No, I was standing by the Roadster, and I remember doing the Wayne's World line where he's like, by the guitar, he's like, "It will be mine." Oh yes, it will be mine. But that was my first event, and that's exactly right. Like for example, the Cybertruck event, they're like, Tesla realizes that their biggest fans are their sellers, because they invited so many people to the Model Y event and the Cybertruck event. I mean, they did such a good job at like reaching out to me and like, hey, do you want to come to the Cybertruck event? Like we'll give you a VIP, like, or give you a media pass. I'm like, of course, yes, I will pay my own money on a flight and my own money for a hotel just to come out there for 4 hours and make a video about this thing that I haven't even seen yet.
But the best part is just seeing your whole Twitter feed in line there.
Yeah. It's something that no other company, I think, they just have the customers are so easily enthusiastic and become fans so quickly, and it's like joining a sort of a special tribe almost when you
cult.
A cult, exactly. Yes.
It's a funny story about me in the Model Y event, actually. And for people listening, please don't try this and get the people at Tesla mad at me. But when the Model Y event happened, I had 4 referrals. And I had a 5th person who actually, was just about there, but then didn't go through with it. I was like, oh my God, people are getting invited to the Model Y event. And I really wanted to go. And then they sent out the invites and I didn't get one, and everyone RSVP'd, and it said it filled up. And I think Earl or somebody posted an email where he had gotten invited, and it said like, oh, we're sorry, you RSVP'd, but the event had already filled up. Please email modelynvail@tesla.com if there's any error. And so I see this email from Earl on Twitter, and I email modelynvail@tesla.com, and I go, hey, I'm so sorry. I got your email, your invite, and I hit the button, and my whole computer just crashed. I was wondering, did my RSVP get in time? And they emailed me like a couple days
Which he
before,
never
and
got
they're-
one, by the way.
Yeah, I didn't get an invite. They emailed me and they're like, yeah, it doesn't look like it went through, but we went ahead and put you on the list anyway. And I was like, yes. Basically snuck in there uninvited. And all of the Tesla Q people were like, how did he get in? And I was like, I literally snuck in. They didn't even invite me.
Well, and that's the thing. Like Tesla, I saw a lot of people at the Cybertruck event that I didn't see in Model Y, and like it was very interesting. I didn't know if Tesla really they obviously knew who their it was a lot of people from. I met Tesla Joy, for example. I saw her at the Cybertruck event, and I don't know if she was at the Model Y, but I think with the Cybertruck they were like, let's get people here. Like, you don't have to be the number one referrer in the world. Like, let's find people who we know that are supporting us online, and let's get them here. And I think that's amazing.
Yeah, I mean, this isn't just an accident. This is their marketing strategy. They have to make something out of a limited budget. They can't outspend Volkswagen. They can't outspend, Lexus. So they have to try something different. And it's really interesting. And it's funny, actually, that, you mentioned Uber. I think me, you, and Safian all have Uber accounts. It's not our full-time job, but we've all given people rides in our Tesla. And it's actually...
Yeah, I think I'm up to 760 rides now. Yeah.
Just people's reactions. Really funny. People really get a kick out of it. Like, if someone wants to get referrals, like, sign up for an Uber account. It's easy. You can just get online in one day, give people rides when you feel like it. The reactions are priceless. You get referrals like this. People have ordered a Tesla in the back of my car. I remember one guy had a Ferrari. And he's in the backseat of my car, and he's like, oh my god, this car's amazing. He orders the car while he's sitting in the back seat. And I go, what's the 0 to 60 time on your Ferrari? And he's like, 4.1 seconds or something like that. I'm like, oh, the Model 3 Performance you just ordered is faster.
Yeah,
and cheaper.
That's true.
And Saf, I think you got, what'd you say, you have 700...
I haven't done it for a while, but I was up to 760, and I did that, I think, in it was a span of like 5 months or something. It was insane.
That's crazy.
Yeah, and most of it was just like college kids that were just needing a ride from A to B, and I did like the basic Lyft, Uber, I turned them both on, and so like the first reactions from like kids, they would be like, did I like get upgraded, or like they're worried like it's going to cost more or something, which is really cool because they look at Tesla as a luxury vehicle, right? Which is, I mean, it just is. It's an amazing vehicle, but they had this experience.
When you say, they go, how much does this car cost? Like 100,000?
Exactly.
And you're like, no, 35,000. And they're like, oh, I got to look into this.
Yeah, it was really, really amazing to do that, and I love doing it. It was just a time commitment, so I had to balance things. But at the time was really useful to do it. And
but the great thing is you can just do it when you want. It's an app. You turn it on. You turn it on. It's almost like a game. Mm-hmm. It really is.
Yeah, I mean, you can turn it on along a route. So if I'm going to work, I can switch it on and pick people up along the way to work or on the way home. So it didn't have to like have it on all the time. It wasn't like a job. It just felt like I was having fun. It was
and
great.
you can choose people you want, right? You can choose how long you want to.
Well, you can choose which trips to accept, but you don't really know who you're going to get.
Right.
There is a cool feature where you can put in a destination. It'll give you people along the way.
Yeah, you can kind of see if someone has a good rating, high rating, like over 4.5 or something, then like other drivers have rated them. And not every passenger knows that they get rated. I think they may have changed it recently to make that visible. It used to not be visible to the passenger, their own rating score. But I think they can see it now with some new changes that happened. So I think it's kind of funny because you would see, like, one time I saw this person had like 3 stars. I was like, okay, I'll give them a go. And they turned out really loving the Tesla. I don't know, maybe they just been in too many gas cars. They have bad ratings or something. But no, they had a great time, and then it works other way around too. So I've had people have really good ratings and then just in a bad mood, I guess. People
Yeah.
are people.
And what's really cool, I turn Lyft on like every single day that I go to work. I don't even use the destination. I just literally turn it on for any open, but I only accept premium rides. That's the thing. I haven't, I don't,
Yeah.
the only time I accepted the normal rides is when I did that, the Uber reaction video.
For video.
Yeah. And, but now I just leave it to only accept premium because it's a higher fare. You make more money. And, around here, I don't get that many requests. I'll get like maybe one a week.
What area are you in?
Yeah, major
I'm in-
metropolis.
I'm in Louisville, Kentucky.
Oh,
Okay.
wow.
So it's not a huge,
Not a lot of Teslas
it's not a huge,
out
so
there.
yeah, but
Are there?
they're it's funny. They're starting to pop up a lot more. It's awesome. Yeah. It's,
great.
but not as many out west as many.
Oh, yeah. It's getting crazy here in California.
Oh, I can't even
Yeah.
imagine. I remember when I came out for the Cybertruck event, Zack from AKA BLKMDL3 picked me up.
Yeah. He's a great friend.
Yeah, he's hilarious. Yeah, he's such a great guy. And yeah, there was just like I remember riding in his car, just seeing so many Teslas. I was like, this is crazy.
Just want to give a big shout out to Zach. Just remember, he just detailed my car like for free. And
Oh,
he did
gosh.
the best detailing job anyone.
Zach, hook me up,
Zach,
dude.
he's amazing.
He's such a
Like,
big heart.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
awesome. So go follow him.
Yeah,
on
definitely.
Twitter.
Black Model 3 on Twitter.
Yep. But yeah, driving Lyft is fun, and the it's so funny because when you look at you can look at your own Lyft driver profile, and it can show you what the customers have awards they've given you.
Uh-huh.
And like my most awarded badge is clean car. Because I think, the Tesla's just so minimal. They look around and they're like, wow, there's not like, it's all it is a screen. That's when like almost everybody says that. I'm like, yeah, it's just a screen here. They're like, oh wow, that's so cool. So, but it's funny because I've never given my referral code out to any of my.
Omar, do you have a card?
No, I'll tell it to people. But people go, oh, does the screen come off? Is that an iPad? Or like, did that come off?
yeah.
It's like,
One of the-
you see any other
yeah.
buttons on the car? That is it. But it's
Yeah,
kind of
if you
interesting
watch
that we're
my-
talking about, these ride-sharing networks and how we're doing it and how it's kind of fun and, educational for these random people. It's kind of like you're picking up a random person. They just needed to get from point A to point B. With the Tesla network coming, and Elon had even hinted at the shareholder meeting that they might kind of launch a Tesla network even before full autonomy, just with, human drivers. And, yeah, I mean, it's kind of interesting to think about that and how that could possibly be integrated into the referral program. Maybe you could get a free ride for referral or something like that instead of supercharger miles. Maybe it's
That'd be
1,000 supercharger miles or 1,000, Uber ride miles like that.
Or they're just Tesla miles and you can use them for whatever you want,
Yeah,
right?
Tesla miles. There we
Yeah,
go.
that'd be cool.
I love it.
Trademark that right now, Tesla miles. But yeah, that's the whenever I start picking up people around here, like now when I pick somebody up, it's less likely that they are surprised that it's a Tesla. You know what I'm saying? Like it's probably out there too is even more so. But a
Yep.
year ago, it was actually when I did my video, it was over a year ago, and back then, like so many people, they didn't even know what the Model 3 was, or even like they were unaware of Tesla at all. And now I don't really bring up Tesla. Like I won't just start jabbering about the Model 3 unless they speak first about it. If they're like, oh yeah, that's a cool screen, or if they mention something about the car, then I'll like, all right, you've opened up a can of worms. Let me tell you all about the Model 3. And but yeah, it's interesting. I never did give out a referral code to any of my passengers, which I probably should have. But I don't give enough rides for it to mean anything.
Sure.
I have enough for.
Well, people would ask me if I actually work for Tesla because I'm usually wearing it. I got my secret level 3 jacket on, and you have one as well. I know because we actually met at that event where we got those jackets. I'll talk about Tesla, but only like the same way. If they ask a question or they look excited, I'll see if they want to know more. But otherwise, so I've given rides that are just like regular rides where the person's like sitting there on their phone or whatever, doesn't want to talk to me at all. It's just a normal human thing, I guess.
Yeah.
A lot of fun.
The other interesting thing is sometimes when you use Autopilot, people don't even notice.
Yeah, mainly because I leave my hand on the wheel, but sometimes I'll take it off just to see if they're paying attention.
Going around a turn or something. Yeah, I would demonstrate it. I'd have my hands really close to the wheel, and as it's going around the turn, the wheel, you can see it's turning and my hands aren't moving. And like some kids were just like blown away when they saw that. They're like, wow. And I think just having that experience, especially the young people, then they know what's possible today, and it's not like something way in the future. Because as Tesla doesn't advertise, it's hard for that message to get across, but it's very easy to create buzz, and then for that to propagate like word of mouth. I think that's where Tesla has a main advantage, because they can create these, it's almost like secretive in a way. Like you said, we're part of a club. It's everyone wants to be part of that club because it's a fun, special thing that people really enjoy it.
Yeah, and I love being able to just give people their first ride in Tesla, because that's pretty much what it is around here. It's always their first ride in a Tesla, and it's like their mind is blown, and it really is a big deal, because I think I saw this on the show notes, but the Tesla stores and the showrooms, when I got my Model 3, or when I was waiting for my Model 3, I was like calling around to all the stores near me. I was calling Indy, I was calling Cincy, Nashville, St. Louis. I'm like, do you have a Model 3 in store so I can test drive it? This was like a couple months prior for me getting getting delivery, and because I'd never seen one, I'd never ridden in one, and I was like, I have to drive this car before I actually commit to getting this car. I mean, I was going to take delivery of it no matter what, but I was like, I have to drive this car. So nobody had it. I had to travel to Chicago. I drove like 5 hours to rent one on Turo.
Wow.
And yeah, like it was about a month before I took delivery, and just so I could drive it, just so I could see a Model 3 in person and drive it. And now, I love being able to like just give rides to people, and like now I can spark the interest in those people. Be like, wow, this is what it's like to ride in a Tesla without going anywhere. They're just riding, and I get to give them a lift or an Uber somewhere. So it's really cool.
So what are your thoughts on the showrooms? Is there one close by anymore?
So the closest one is Cincinnati to me, and that's about an hour and a half drive, and that's where I got my car. That's where I took delivery of my Model 3, and I never go. I never go to I never have it. That's the closest service center, and I haven't had the need to go. I mean, I've had 3 minor repairs on my Model 3, and they've all came through the Mobile Ranger. So,
nice.
But the showrooms, they are going to play a part, and I hope they have Model Ys in the showrooms when that's ready to launch, because that will be huge, because I don't want somebody in my position to have that same problem as me and not being able to find one in showroom. So I really do hope that they have they start shipping some Model Ys to the Tesla the stores, even here in the Midwest, because people are going to be interested, and they're going to want to ride, and I guarantee, like, once they drive or ride in it, they're going to buy it.
Yes.
So.
Yeah, it's interesting you mentioned Turo too. I think this is also one of the really big, important services in terms of Tesla marketing. And it's funny how so many of these are just third-party services that Tesla hasn't kind of absorbed into their ecosystem yet. But Turo, I mean, I rented a Turo before I got my Model 3. I think a lot of people did, just to kind of take the car home and get a feel for it. And just because you wanted to drive one and play around with it so badly, I couldn't. Back when I got my car, it was like you had to wait months between your order and delivery. I guess that hasn't changed that much now that I think about it. But, Turo, just huge for people not only seeing a Tesla and getting to experience one, but also for being able to make money with their Tesla. Like, you can put a Tesla on Turo and rent it out for less than a week and pay for it for the whole month. So there are people who buy Teslas just to put them on Turo. I think Viv, when she was here in the US, briefly had a SR. Like, they actually bought a $35,000 SR and just had that for Turo. So pretty interesting.
Yeah. And what's really awesome about Turoing a Tesla is, I haven't done it yet, but I have a feeling if and when I do.
Oh, I couldn't do it.
Yeah. That's the
Well,
thing.
with your own car, you'd have to get another one for it.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah, one that
exactly.
user one.
And I think I'm going to Turo my wife's Model Y. Moving on. But
Does she know about that?
No, I seriously, like, if and when we get the Model Y, I do want to, like, list at least one of them on Turo. And when I do, this is what's good about Tesla. I'm going to, whenever I meet up with the person who's renting it, I will say, hey, this is an amazing car. Let me tell you everything about it. But also keep in mind, this has a 24/7 camera on it. I mean, it's recording 24/7 on all of its cameras. So it's saving all the footage to this USB drive. So just so you know, like that's how it's set up. And I think that will be my just to like help me sleep at night and be like, okay, maybe they won't like drive it like a maniac if they know that it's recording footage, because another car can do that. So I think that's actually a benefit for the renters on Turo.
And when it starts recording the inside of the cab too.
When I got my when I rented this Model 3 on Turo, it doesn't have autopilot on it, so I have to drive it manually. Of course, I get on the freeway. My friend who had like rented the car gets a call, like in the back seat, and he picks up the phone. The guy's like freaking out. He's like crying because he has the Tesla app open, and he can see how, it shows the speed at the top there, and he's like, "Please slow down, like don't hurt my car." And then,
so he didn't put it in valet mode for you? He could have.
Actually, when we arrived, he did put it in valet mode when we arrived at the destination. We had to call him and be like, come on, man, like, get us out of valet mode. Like, your car's still in one piece. But we did return the car to him. We didn't crash it, so it was a happy ending. And hopefully he took his car off Turo after that.
Yeah, that's another thing. You can it's got speed limit mode too. You can limit the speed, not just valet mode. So, those are all benefits for renting on Turo for sure. If you are cautious.
It's just going to get even more like benefits. I mean, in terms of capabilities, once the software can ramp up. I mean, we're going to get that the selfie cam, right, which is in all Model 3s. Will eventually be turned on. So, I mean, imagine that someone's rented your car, you can turn on the camera and see, as long as like you have permission and all that sort of stuff. But if there's some emergency or something like that, I mean, there's so many things that can come down the pike. I mean, this speed limit mode and valet is just like what they can do today, but with software, and we did a whole episode on this on software as a service, they're just going to keep adding more features, and then there'll be premium features that you could charge for. You just add on.
Yeah, and you can see the location of it.
Totally. Yeah. And I think definitely with the robo-taxi stuff, like as that starts to roll out, it gives you a lot more comfortable options. You can be like, okay, you can borrow my car to go to the movie theater or whatever, and then my car's actually going to go back and park in my garage after. And, you don't have to kind of do that thing. The selfie camera, of course, for the robo-taxi, if you're, renting it out for people, not that you're going to be necessarily watching the footage, but it's just kind of like, okay, I'm not going to mess up this car because any damage will be, there will be evidence.
You can see it. Yeah. Exactly.
Wow, you could actually start a service with people who just upload the video and that watch it instead of you having to do it.
I think it'll be mostly for like throw up situations or something, that kind of stuff. Hopefully it'll have some kind of AI thing like the Sentry mode where it can see what the passenger's doing and be like, please,
stop throwing up?
Yeah, or like maybe if you could have an AI that detected when people are going to throw up, just like look at their face, train
like eject them out of the car.
All kinds of people who are hammered,
eject button.
And then it's just like, pulling over now, you are about to throw up.
Yeah, I mean, that ties back. I mean, we look at the marketing side of these, all these features, because Tesla really doesn't advertise. So how do people find out about this? Is because they find themselves on a Sentry video or something that goes viral, or there's an accident, there's footage of it, or these crazy things on the freeway. I mean, all these things were happening anyway, but now the cars are recording them, and only Teslas are built in. Like every other car, you have to buy like an external dash cam or something like that. So, I mean, you look at Teslas and like what it has going for it, and what's actually selling the car. And I think you did a video on the number one reason for people buying Teslas in safety, right? So, I mean,
right.
You got all these things that the safety speaks louder, I think, than any other marketing or commercial that anybody can make, really.
Yeah. And that's also the thing that gets forgotten about the most. As for me too, I'm a culprit. I'm like, gosh, this car's so much fun. It's so cool. It's awesome. But it's also like so safe. And, that's right now, for example, my wife and I are trying to decide if we're going to have a baby this year. And I'm like,
Yeah.
well, if we have a baby this year, Model Y might have to get pushed back. We might have to put that on the back burner. And then I'm like, well, do I want my wife and child in my Pontiac G6, or do I want them in a Model Y that's going to be exponentially safer? Is it worth it? I'm like, it's got to be worth it. I'm sure, right?
Right. And then you could just put it on Turo to make the extra money for your baby too.
Exactly, and I can put the baby in the while I Turo it, and like, here, watch this kid babysit at the same time. That way, it's like a two for one. I'm like, don't worry, it's fine. You can leave the baby in. It's got climate, it's got dog mode, baby mode.
Baby mode.
Well, another thing you got to consider is if you have a kid, and the car can drive itself, in a couple years and it's legally allowed, the kid might be taking the car, and you might have to get another Tesla. So
that's true.
Or you could just have the kid do the robotaxi.
I'll have like 4 Roadsters by then, so it's fine.
Oh my gosh. You can be my dad. Be my dad.
So coming back to the Roadster, I wanted to ask you before, you mentioned about Uber and Lyft. So the owner, not the owner, but the potential buyer of that second Roadster, was that someone you met in one of your Uber and Lyft rides? Or is I mistaking this completely?
The potential buyer?
Yeah. Like you said you're going to sell one of the Roadsters, right?
Oh, yeah. Well, I've had like 10 people reach out over over the past year saying like, hey, I'm interested in buying one of your Roadsters. And all my same response to all of them, I'm like, I will add you to a list. I'm keeping a list of people, and I'm like, I don't know anything. I cannot promise you anything. I don't know anything from, like, Tesla has not told me anything, so I don't know. But I was like, I will save your name. I'll save your contact information, and if and when I find out more, I will let you know. But what's funny though, one time I was Ubering. I was picked up a guy from a hotel, and I was taking him downtown, and he asked about the Model 3, and I started talking about the Model 3, and eventually I told him about my YouTube videos and how I won 2 Roadsters, and he was like, you know what, here's my card. I might be interested in buying one of those. So that was fun. So I got that was worth it for me just to get his number because I added him to the list. But he was like, yeah, I might be interested in buying one of those. So I have a handful of people that have reached out and said they're interested in buying, but I haven't said anything. I'm just keeping a list.
No, I was just going to say, I was going to start a raffle right before they ended the program where I was going to sell 100 tickets for $1,000, and whoever won the second Roadster got it for $1,000, and then I would get the first one for free. I don't know, hopefully. Maybe more than that, but...
Oh, yeah.
They ended it a week later. I'm like, crap.
Yeah. That was interesting, the way they handled that. I remember Elon was like, it's ending, and then they brought it back like a month later.
Yeah, and it's funny because I took delivery of my Model S right in February when the referral program ended. So I actually have paid supercharging on my S, but I have enough referral miles as well. Not as many as yours, but I do have quite a lot. So,
was there any other news that happened this week that was interesting?
Yeah, there was something. There was a debunking the whole story by CNBC delivery performance in Q4.
Who has time to debunk everything with the absence of advertising and marketing? Just the way Tesla's marketing strategy is. There's just so much room for misinformation, which people have just capitalized on, right? Because if they're not going to advertise, they're not going to put their own message out there. It just leaves a vacuum for someone else to, tell the story. And, they make up all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, there's a lot of politics that goes into this whole thing, because if Tesla's not spending a lot of advertising money, then these channels or so, like they're not getting the money. They're not getting the money that they would have been if another automaker had spent money on a certain ad. So I don't know how far and deep that goes, if there's some type of conspiracy behind that, but
it's deeper than business politics. Even it goes into actual politics,
right?
Because Volkswagen is owned 20% by like Lower Saxony. It's owned by the government, and and then the whole just climate change in general is a political issue for some reason.
Yeah, that's a whole, and Tesla's tied into that as well. So it's like, it's interesting. How how many people by show of hands on this podcast own Tesla stock?
Yeah, I think all
I
of
just
us.
saw that you didn't, Andy. You diversify.
Right. Yeah. So, I would love, I've always looked at it as like my Model 3 is my investment into Tesla. I was like, okay, I have a $50,000 investment in Tesla with this car. And I was okay with that much money. I didn't want to put much more money because I'm not a risk averse person. And also at the same time, I just feel like I'm out here reviewing stuff. I don't want people to get the wrong idea. Like, oh, you're a Tesla, you own Tesla stock. So of course you're going to say positive things about it. So I don't own any individual stocks. Like I'm a big fan of Apple. I don't own their stock. I don't own Tesla stock. And I just, I don't know. I feel like first of all, I'm just too much of a wimp to risk my money. Even though I am kicking myself because I wanted to buy some last year when it hit the dip.
180.
The 176.
Gosh.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I don't, but I admire the people who are gutsy enough to do it, and I'm glad that people are doing it. And like I said, if I wasn't a reviewer on YouTube, and if I didn't have if I wasn't known in the Tesla community as having all these referrals, and I would probably feel more comfortable of investing in stock just for the, I don't know, being able to genuinely and authentically review products unbiasedly.
I like that. That's good.
Most journalists, are actually forbidden from owning stocks in companies they cover. This is, journalistic ethics, being unbiased or whatever. But, if people care about the stock too much, it's really, it dominates the conversation too much. It really is not important. Given all the real things that are happening. I mean, like, people get upset. People who love Tesla, they get upset if, the stock went down. And, there's, of course, the short sellers. There's, it just influences people's mood too much. And it's really just a very random thing. All it is just like, it's just really like sentiment. How do people feel?
I recently released a video. It was Autopilot versus OpenPilot, and I compared both systems. I'm not sure if you guys are aware of OpenPilot, but
yeah, George Hotz
sort of
is
like
the
the open source.
Like, yeah,
right.
Yeah.
Hotz.
So me and my buddy took our cars out, and he has OpenPilot on his Toyota. We did a video, and I put it on my YouTube channel, and it got shared to Reddit and in the Tesla investors subreddit, and they weren't understanding. I think I replied to some comment, and I was like, basically, Autopilot does not come with a $35,000 Model 3, the base Model 3. It does not come with it, and they just refuse to understand it because they have Tesla stock. They have reason to positively talk about Tesla or downvote anything that's against Tesla, and it goes both ways. There are people, of course, there are the shorts that just completely make up false, just any type of crazy things. It's such a crazy world when it comes to the Tesla stock. But I'm curious to know what you guys thought of the Cybertruck, the whole deal with the Cybertruck, because going back to the marketing thing, like how much would a company had to have paid for that type of press that Tesla got with the Cybertruck?
I don't know how much they would have had to pay.
Yeah,
is that your question in general?
No, I just isn't it crazy how much press Tesla got from that without paying anything? Like all they did was actually they brought people from the Tesla community, like I said earlier, to the event, and then they put on this event, and like the whole glass thing, like every news media outlet picked that up, and it's like, did that hurt or help their brand? Well,
It's actually
the stock,
a blessing, I thought. I mean, it was painful, obviously, for Elon and for people like me as well. Like, I want to see good things happen. I was like, oh my gosh, this wasn't supposed to happen. But the response from that, I mean, even my grandma, who knows nothing about cars, she was saying, oh, I heard this new truck and so weird looking, and the glass broke on it, and so it's just so funny how far it spread because of that. And I think it was a positive thing because they're also going to make it better. They couldn't have hoped for a better result.
It was smart to make it
cool.
easy to step into too at only $100. It went viral.
Right, and that's why I think it did. That's why there were so many reservations. I think it was mostly because of that low. Because even I reserved, and I'm like, am I really going to get a Cybertruck? Probably not.
You have 2 years to think about it.
Exactly. You can reserve one. It doesn't hurt. It's $100. It's refundable. But it was funny because like you said, Soft, that when I got back from the same day, I think it was the same day or the next day, I got back to Kentucky. I was visiting my wife's parents, and when I was at their house, they got a call from one of their friends, and they're like, "Hey, he wants to talk to you." And I'm like, "Okay." I got on the phone, and I just remember hearing the voice. He was like, "Yeah, so I heard that you went to this Tesla event, and I saw this they got this truck, and I'm just really interested in this truck, man." And so he's like this Southern Kentucky guy, good old boy. They love their trucks down there, and I'm like, "Well, let me tell you about it." So I told him everything that I knew up to that point, and he was like, "God, I think I'm gonna order one. I think I'm gonna do it." And
That's awesome.
So like you got these people in Southern Kentucky who just love their Fords. They love their what is their
Dodge
Chevys.
Ram?
Yeah,
Chevys,
Dodges.
yeah.
Like you got all
Yeah.
these people who just love their and so and my brother-in-law the same day he was like, he sent me a screenshot. He's like, reserved a tri-motor Cybertruck, and he was like, he's so excited to get one. He lives in Southern Kentucky, and it's just like these people that never would have thought Tesla would be on their radar just suddenly became on their radar, and that was so cool to see, because I got so many people that reached out to me who I never thought. I was like, "There's you want to get a Tesla?" It was so
That's
cool.
so
though.
cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's definitely, iconic. And they took a big risk. You could see Elon before he kind of, revealed it, saying, "I don't know if it'll be for everybody," but it came out iconic. It's in music videos. If they had tried to make it look like a normal truck as an electric vehicle, they couldn't have made it look, as big and powerful as a traditional truck, just because of the physics of drag and all that. By doing something different, not just different but better, it's tougher, it's stainless steel. They really kind of carved out their own niche and created this really distinctive brand. And I think that nobody takes those kinds of risks. It's just so risky, and it paid off. This is a big market.
And it's not like he just came up with it overnight. He'd been thinking on it for at least 5 years. I mean, it was function over form. But he used some of the sci-fi, the Sid Mead's artistic renditions to tie into it, which is ironic, even though it's function over form.
Yeah, and the glass breaking, I mean, that you can actually buy a T-shirt in the Tesla store now with the bulletproof, like the cracked. I ordered one just the other day. Hopefully it should come soon. But yeah, I mean, that's the sort of advertising Tesla does, right? This is, you get a T-shirt. They can not take themselves so seriously as well, and that's what I love.
Love that.
Elon has a sense of humor. That's the culture.
Yeah, and I actually told Elon the same thing. I was like, "Look, I don't know if you were kind of bummed that the glass broke, but don't be bummed. It couldn't have gone better. It was hilarious. It was just a meme, and all the people who gloated about how bad it was, "Oh my God, it was a disaster." They just ended up advertising the thing, and people were like,
True.
"Wait, hold on. Stainless steel truck, the glass is supposedly unbreakable. This sounds pretty interesting, actually." And once you actually look at it, and the windshield just goes all the way over your head, it's actually really kind of a beautiful design.
Same price as the Model 3, faster than the Model 3. Well, with the right motor, but...
And you get the air suspension too.
And I was excited to see the shirt and them kind of just embracing that, the meme of the glass breaking, taking ownership of that, other companies would just be super embarrassed.
And kids are drawing it with the glass, with the bullet holes or whatever. I'll call them bullet holes, but they look like that. It looks cool. And those kids, like my son, he said, "This is the coolest Tesla ever. This is the Tesla I want." And I actually ordered 3.
For the record, throwing a steel ball at a window and it doesn't break. I mean, it broke, but it didn't go through and hit the person inside. That's pretty impressive.
Yeah.
Totally.
Yeah. A lot of people forget that, like, if it was any other truck, it would have went directly through that glass.
It would have gone straight through the other side.
Yeah. And so I remember being there. I was there, and when that happened, you know, I'm standing back there rather, in the media area, and I'm standing next to Quinn Nelson, aka Snazzy Labs. I don't know if you guys know
Snazzy
him.
Labs.
Yeah.
So we're standing next to each other, and when that happened, I remember just like looking over at him, and I'm like, what just happened? And like the whole room went like quiet. But like once they showed the price, like everybody started cheering. And then once people got the test ride, I remember when I got the test ride, I completely forgot about the glass thing. And because it was just the vehicle itself, I mean, it's just so, when you see it up in
magical.
Close up, it's just, it's nothing you've ever seen before. And with the new UI on the screen, the bigger screen, how much space I had in the back, the bed, it was just everything about it was
so
like,
cool.
wow, it's like a wow factor. And you just also, I thought it was kind of cool that with that glass. I mean, he went the rest of the presentation with that broken window, or the window in the background, and I'm like, you know what? It looks kind of badass. Like it looks like it's a Cybertruck with a busted it looks like it was made for a sci-fi movie, and it looks like it was in a sci-fi movie after that. And I think you know what I love about Tesla is that they're unapologetically authentic.
Yes.
They
I love
are
that too.
real. They are completely real when it comes from Elon Musk all the way down. Like they know what they're all about. The Twitter for Tesla's Twitter account, like whoever took over that last year was just making all kinds of snarky posts. Like it was awesome. Like it was so funny.
Yeah.
You got, and I think the juxtaposition of their wide spectrum, like they're on both sides of the spectrum when it comes to so many different things. For example, like when you think of their mission statement, right? They're about accelerating the world's transition to sustainable energy. You're like, oh yeah, that's so cool. That's so green. That's so forward thinking. That's awesome. I can get behind that. That's so good. That's so for morale. That's just good. It sounds good. But then you got the same people making fart noises for their cars.
Yeah.
So it's like you see that opposite end of this. Like they don't care. They do what they want to do, and I think it has a huge part to do with their leader, you know, Elon Musk. It starts with the visionary, and I think you know with him, you know, you look at him, he's a billionaire. He has so much more money than anybody could possibly think of, but he's also the type of guy to go on Twitter and post memes and like reply to just random people, and he'll also, you know, he's not the most eloquent, charming, public speaker, but he's real, and he because he wasn't born to be that sales guy. He was born as this geek who like loved to tinker and loved to make the world a better place, and he did it and he knows what, and he's not fake. He's always real, and they make the quickest cars in the world, and they make the safest cars in the world,
and the funnest.
I mean, we love talking about Tesla. People will do it for free because the products are so exceptional. These are the advantages Tesla has that other legacy auto OEMs don't. And I think that there will be a lot of opportunities to supercharge the referral program and just supercharge people telling it's such a secret. I mean, even here in California, most common thing you hear from people who get into your Tesla is like an Uber or something. This is my first time in a Tesla. You know, they've never been inside one. They've never seen one. They have no idea what a Tesla can do. And it's just such an open frontier in terms of marketing. And I think, you know, if you once these Roadster and Ys start delivering, maybe you add some more digital services in to the referral program, the world still doesn't know about Tesla and what it can do for them. And that's going to start to happen over the next couple of years in a big way. When the Cybertruck launches, it's going to be a $40,000 completely self-driving, you know, autonomous, indestructible vehicle. And that is just such a compelling sales pitch. People still haven't fully wrapped their mind around what this product is going to be when it launches. 1 million trucks alone in North America. Tesla sold 367,000 cars last year. This one vehicle will sell more than every model Tesla sold this year altogether every year after it launches. Yeah, this is just the beginning of the electric vehicle revolution.
Yeah, I'll piggyback off that and just say the Tesla, the amount of Teslas on the road is what, coming up to 1 million soon, right?
Yeah, in Q1 or Q2 we'll hit 1 million.
A little over.
Okay, so we're gonna have 1 million Teslas on the road this year, and the amount of driving data that will have for the fleet is going to be, there's going to be no competition for that. And so you got this brand that doesn't do traditional advertising, that converts their customers into loyal fans and lets them do the marketing for them. I think you're going to continue to see that in the near future. However, if and when the robo-taxis ever take off, when full self-driving is feature complete and out released to all the cars, I wonder how that's going to affect the referral program. I wonder if it's going to be less dependent on the owners and more dependent on just the cars doing the work themselves. If you imagine if a Tesla robo-taxi picks you up, or picks somebody up that's never been in one, we're like, wow, well, they don't have an owner there to talk to them, but the car basically showed itself to them and showed like, oh yeah, this is amazing. By that time, that's going to be a long time from now, I think. And by that time, I think people are going to know about Tesla even more than they do now. But for the time being, I think Tesla is no other brand. I think no other brand can compete with the way they're doing. They're letting the products speak for themselves, and they're letting their customers do their advertising for them. And right now, I think it's the best case scenario for Tesla to continue to do this, because they're riding high. I mean, they're on the up and up. I mean, there's no end in sight, and the more and more Teslas on the road this year, their fleet learning is constantly improving. It's exponentially improving. They're going to reach, I think they've already said that they have FSD as feature complete, whatever that means. But it's the only thing too. The supercharging is going to be interesting, because all these people have this free supercharging, and I hardly ever supercharge. So I don't. It doesn't affect me that much. But I think a lot of people are going to. They're going to abuse the supercharging if and when they do it, because you got these people everybody who uses my referral link gets 1,000 free supercharging miles, and I mistakenly said that was going to be the death of the referral program, is all that supercharging, when in reality you don't supercharge that often. Yeah, you only supercharge on road trips. So, but I'm just kind of afraid the more and more people get Teslas, will they abuse it? Like, will that become a problem? I know that the West Coast, there's going to be, there's already, like, I've seen lines at superchargers. I've never had experience a line ever out here. So, but I think the more and more Teslas come and the more free supercharging is out there, I wonder if that will become a problem at all. That's the only thing I can think of that comes out of negative thing that comes out of the referral program in the long term.
Cool. Kristen, your final thoughts?
Just with the marketing, I think the Cybertruck to me kind of is the epitome of how unique, and I don't know if I can think of the right words. I think the cars themselves are so unique, they draw people to them. I think they would be boring if they were mainline, streamlined, the same. But just as they don't pay for them, they have some of the marketing, but I think because the cars are some of the fastest, they're actually beautiful cars, but they've got such character too. They attract people. Yeah, that's about all I was going to say.
Cool. And then, in terms of like Tesla not spending money on advertising, of course they do on marketing, but I think it's money well spent, because most of the money they're putting into the actual product, right? They're making products that are so compelling. They're so much better than anything else on the road. And it's almost like people get into Tesla now and they think like it shouldn't exist because they think it's so futuristic. I mean, even you look at the Cybertruck too, that we got a ride in one, and it was just, it feels like this is the future, but it's here. It's like, it's right there. It's in my driveway. It's in my garage. I can see it with my phone. I mean, the proof is actually showing the actual product that exists today. And that goes so much further than any traditional advertising that out there today. I mean, it has so much more of a profound impact. And I think the authenticity from Elon goes all the way down to us as well, to the customers, because we feel compelled to share that experience with people. Tesla's not asking us to do it. We're doing it because we have such a great experience, and we see like that other people maybe they're being blocked by naysayers or people who don't know what they're talking about. So we feel compelled to actually share that, that vision and say like, try it out for yourself and then you make up your own mind. But this is our experience. So why shouldn't it be your experience as well? So yeah, I think that the marketing side, Tesla, I don't know, maybe they did it out of necessity, but to me, it's a genius move to make a compelling product that's so good that your customers just want to talk about it all the time. Maybe too much.
And it's funny when you talk about traditional advertising, because you can't really have a conversation about any electric vehicle without Tesla coming up. Even if there's a headline about another car, it's like Tesla competitor Neo,
Yeah.
And the Super Bowl this year in February, I think, is going to have a Taycan ad, and what's the other EV? I think a Hummer ad. So there's going to be a Taycan and a Hummer ad, and people are going to be thinking about EVs. Tesla doesn't have to waste money on a Super Bowl ad, but people who watch the Super Bowl are going to be thinking about Tesla.
Yeah, it's genius. So any closing thoughts from you, Andy?
Yeah, I'm just going to continue to do my free marketing for Tesla by making YouTube videos. And so it's funny because a lot of people ask me, they're like, Tesla should hire you. Why don't you work for Tesla? Like, Tesla does not want to hire me. They're getting free marketing content out of me right now without paying me a salary. So it's in their best interest not to hire me, and just to continue to let me do my videos. But I definitely am looking forward to continuing to do Tesla videos for the near future and for as long as I can.
Well, if Tesla paid us, we couldn't say what we really wanted. So
actually, yeah, that is a good point, because I mean, once you're an employee, then you feel restricted, and I think that's, as much as I'd love to work on Teslas, like on the tech side, because I'm a software engineer, a firmware engineer actually, I could work on all the subsystems in a car, but I want to do so much more than that. I would feel restricted, which is why I love being able to do what I can do now, and yeah, it's liberating, like it's freedom, which I totally understand that too. So
Definitely.
Yep. Well, thanks so much, Andy, for joining us on the Third Row Tesla podcast, and yeah, we hope to have you back someday. And maybe we'll just have Elon on before the next episode, so you can go after him.
Yeah, I greatly appreciate that. No, thank you guys so much. This has been fun, and I'm looking forward to more episodes. It's been fun.
Thanks,
Andy.
Pleasure.